Why do I encourage people to read Becoming Your Own Banker in particular? There's a lot of books out there. There's a lot of resources, a lot of videos on infinite banking. So why do I encourage people to go with Becoming Your Own Banker? Well, the answer is because the focus is very plain. The concept is simple, and it really is the source material or the foundation of infinite banking. Nelson Nash is the one who created the concept, and he wrote this book after teaching on it for 20 years. It's the foundation. It's the source. So go to this to really understand what infinite banking is all about, and also how money works. John Adams, back in 1829, said that all the perplexities, confusion, and distress in America arise from the downright ignorance of the nature of coin, credit, and circulation. Another way of saying that is Americans are having problems because they don't understand how money works. That was 200 years ago, before all the distractions that we're dealing with nowadays. Okay, the problem is still the problem, and that is that we don't understand how money works. Becoming Your Own Banker is fantastic at explaining that. So what is the difference between infinite banking or Becoming Your Own Banker and the conventional finance? By conventional, I just mean conforming or adhering to, generally accepted standards for finances. Well, the difference between both of them is that one focuses on the cause and the other focuses on symptoms. The infinite banking concept teaches you how money works, while conventional finance only teaches or tries to help you make more money or get more money. And the way they do this is by separating you from your money and giving you a return of investment, or ROI, rate of return, whatever. Becoming Your Own Banker teaches that when you maintain control of your capital or of an increasing pool of capital, that puts you in a much better position than separating yourself from your capital, because of the golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rules. So if you're not in control of your capital, then you're not making all the decisions. It is important to be in control. Becoming Your Own Banker is relatively unknown versus conventional finance is heavily marketed. And when things are heavily marketed, personally for me, I don't trust them. I don't think that they're necessarily in my best interest. I think someone's trying to make a sale or make profits off of what they're marketing. If something's relatively unknown, the chances of it being good for you are a little bit higher. That's my belief. Becoming Your Own Banker requires discipline, while conventional finance allows for ignorance. Think about it. You could be completely ignorant of what is going on in the world and still be involved in conventional finance. You can go up with everyone and down with everyone. Becoming Your Own Banker is simple. It's funny that the more complicated option allows for ignorance. And the reason why it does is because they're saying, hey, this is so complicated, and since you don't know anything, just give it to us, give your money to us, we'll take care of it for you. Come on. Versus Becoming Your Own Banker says, guess what? This is simple. All you need to understand is these different things. This is how money works. Keep control of your capital. We want you to have control of your capital because we know that if you do, you're going to be more profitable. That's better for everybody. A rising tide floats all boats. Lifts all boats? I don't know. I probably said that wrong. Anyways, how do we go from conventional finance, whether we have a lot of money or no money, how do we make this switch from conventional finance over to infinite banking? Brian Tracy wrote a book called Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. And that's what we're going to start. In order to change your thinking, you have to read. You have to change what's going into your mind. Okay, you start reading different things. You start thinking about your life differently. You start thinking about different things. And eventually you start acting in accordance with that new mindset. Eventually, whether it's short or long, you will become a completely different person. I've seen people go from conventional finance, total ignorance, to becoming their own banker in as little as a week. It's insane. It is that simple. Okay? But you have to read, think, and act first before you can become. Now, let's talk about what the wealthy people do. I hear this question all the time. What do the wealthy people do? The reason why people are asking this question is because, what they're actually asking is, what tricks and tips do the wealthy use that bring more money into their pockets and allow them to stay wealthy or increase their wealth. And the reason why people ask this question is because they think that as long as they do those things, then they will become wealthy. But that's not the case, is it? Because if we go back, doing or acting is a third step. You have to read and think. You have to change your mindset first. Because if you think about it, your actions and your thought processes, if they're not in alignment, that's just a recipe for disaster. Something is going to give. And typically, it's your actions. Typically, you're going to go back to your mindset. So you got to change your mindset first. And the way they do that is they read. They read. You got to start with this. Read every day. It's so important. But if you want to learn how money works, just start with a 92-page book. Becoming Your Own Banker is really, really simple. Earlier on in my career, I inherited a client from a practitioner who's no longer in the insurance world. And this client chose to capitalize with infinite banking. They didn't read the book. They didn't take the time to become their own banker. And now, 4 years later, they have all but destroyed their banking system because they don't know how to handle it. It's sad. It's tragic. And this is why I don't take on clients who refuse to learn and grow. It's very important. David Allen put it this way: trying becomes striving, and striving undoes itself. Social climbers strive to be aristocrats, but their efforts prove them to be no such thing. Aristocrats do not strive, they have already arrived. That quote has been on my mind for it's going on 10 years. Aristocrats, bankers, the wealthy, you name it. They don't necessarily have a lot of money. It's the way they think and the way they approach life that's different. And all you have to do is choose to live that life by reading and thinking differently. All right, let's talk about finance. Nelson mentioned it 95 times in his book, Becoming Your Own Banker. He said that you finance everything that you buy. You either pay interest to someone else or you give up interest that you could have earned otherwise. You finance everything you buy. There's a lot of people who pay for things with cash and they do not like this statement. They think it's false. Well, if you pay $1 for something, where is it? It's gone, right? Out of your control. Can you ever make money with it? No, it's gone. It's consumed. Out of your control. There is a cost to that. What if you were to put that into an asset or an investment? Opportunity cost is a big deal. You finance everything that you buy. You're always paying interest. All right, capital. He mentions this one 73 times. Simply defined, capital is just the tradable value of an asset. Okay, it's not the asset itself. It's not the money. It is the tradable value of the asset. And the fact is, really, guys, we're all undercapitalized. None of us have enough to do what we want to do. And we cannot finance anything. We cannot bank. We cannot make the profits that bankers make or financiers make if we don't change this, okay? The common man has become so infatuated with living for today that the importance of saving or creating capital is all but a lost value. I want to stress something here. Living for today is not the same thing as living today. Those who practice infinite banking, they live today well, but they don't live for today, okay? So just wrapping it up, read Becoming Your Own Banker to understand how money works, and you're going to set yourself apart from the crowd. Guys, it really, everything in finance is relative. It's relative to what other people are doing. Not everybody's doing this. Not everybody is thinking and becoming bankers. They're thinking like savers, investors, spenders, you name it, business people, but they're not bankers. And if you choose to be a banker, just look at how much money bankers make. your life is going to look completely different.